She only found out because of a photograph. A photograph taken 18 months earlier. A family photo. Everyone smiling. Nobody looking at the window. In the window, partially hidden by the curtain, was a face, looking in. She had no idea how long it had been going on before that photograph was taken. She still does not know.
This first account comes from a woman named M. She is in her late 30s. She lives with her husband and 2 children in a house they have owned for 6 years. She told me this story started with something she noticed completely by accident, a detail so small that most people would have missed it entirely. My sister came to visit last Christmas. She went through all our old photos on her laptop, the kind of thing families do over the holidays, and at some point she called me over to look at something. It was a photo from 18 months earlier, a birthday party for my youngest, everyone around the table, cake, candles, the usual chaos. My sister pointed at the window behind us. There was a face in the window, partially hidden by the curtain, just the left side of a face visible, an eye, part of a nose, the edge of a forehead. Someone standing outside our kitchen window looking directly in at the birthday party. Nobody in the photo was looking at the window. Nobody had noticed. I told myself it was a reflection, a trick of the light. I told myself these things for about 3 minutes before I accepted that what I was looking at was a person who had been standing outside my kitchen window watching my daughter's birthday party. We went back through every photo we had taken in that house, every family photo, every birthday, every Christmas morning. We found the face in 11 photographs spanning 4 years, always at the kitchen window, always partially hidden, always the same eye looking in. 4 years, 11 photographs, countless evenings we spent in that kitchen with the curtains open that produced no photograph at all. We called the police. We had the photos forensically examined. They confirmed it was a human face. They never identified who it belonged to. We moved out 6 months later. We have blackout curtains in every room of our new house. I still cannot look at a family photograph without checking every window first. The second account was submitted by a man named D. He commutes to work by car, the same route every day, leaving at the same time every morning. He told me he never paid attention to the people he passed on his commute, until one morning when he did. I drive the same route to work every day. 30 minutes, same roads, same turnings. After a few years, you stop seeing it. Your brain switches off and your hands just know what to do. One morning about 2 years ago, I was stopped at a set of traffic lights near my house. I looked out the window and there was a man on the pavement. I noticed him because he was looking directly at my car, not glancing, looking, standing completely still while everyone else walked past him, staring directly at my driver's side window. The lights changed. I drove on. I forgot about it. The next morning, at the same lights, same man, same position, same stare. I told my wife. She said it was probably someone who lived nearby. I told myself the same thing. After 2 weeks, I started paying attention. He was there every single morning, always at that junction, always at the exact time I passed, always looking directly at my car. I tried leaving 10 minutes early. He was still there, which meant he had adjusted his timing to match mine. I tried a different route. I came back to the original route a week later. He was there, same spot, same stare. I never found out who he was. I reported it to the police. They said without a direct threat there was nothing they could do. He stopped appearing about 8 months later. No explanation. He was just there every morning for 8 months, and then he was not. What I think about now, looking back, is how long he must have been there before I noticed him. How many mornings I drove past on autopilot, eyes forward, while he stood on that pavement watching me go by.
Months, maybe. Longer. I will never know.
This third account tonight is the one that has stayed with me longest since I received it. It was submitted by a young woman named S. She was 22 when this happened, living alone for the first time in a ground-floor apartment. She told me that for 3 months she thought she was losing her mind. She was not losing her mind. She was being watched. I started noticing small things first, the kind of things you convince yourself mean nothing. My bathroom mirror would have condensation on it when I had not showered. Food in my fridge would be in slightly different positions than I left it. A chair pushed closer to the window than I remembered. I told myself I was tired, forgetful, adjusting to living alone for the first time. I told myself these things for 3 months. Then, one evening, I came home early from work. I heard footsteps above me. My apartment was on the ground floor. Above me was a storage unit. Not a flat, not a room, just a locked storage space that belonged to the building. Nobody lived up there. I went to the building manager. He told me the storage unit had been empty for 2 years. He came and unlocked it for me. It was not empty. Someone had been living in it. There was a sleeping bag, empty food containers, a phone charger plugged into the wall, and in the corner, a hole in the floorboard. A small hole, maybe 2 inches wide, with a direct sight line down into my bathroom. 3 months. Someone had been living directly above me for 3 months, coming down at night while I slept, moving things, going through my refrigerator, watching me through a hole in my bathroom floor. The police investigated. They found fingerprints. They matched them to a man who had previously rented the storage unit as a workspace 2 years earlier and simply never left. He had been up there, undetected, for far longer than 3 months. The building manager told me the storage unit had not been inspected in over a year. I still do not know exactly how long he was up there before I moved in. I do not want to know. The fourth account was submitted by a man named P. He is a software developer. He works from home. He is, by his own description, someone who is very careful about his digital security. What he found on his own computer made him question everything he thought he knew about who had access to his life. I was doing a routine security check on my home network one evening, something I do every few months, just checking what devices are connected, what traffic is moving through the router, standard stuff. I found a device I did not recognize. It had been connecting to my network every night between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. for approximately 4 months. I traced the device. It was connecting from within range of my router, meaning it was physically close to my house, within about 30 meters. Every night, for 4 months, someone had been sitting outside my house close enough to connect to my network, and they had been doing it quietly enough that I never noticed. I checked what the device had been accessing. It had attempted, and in 3 instances succeeded, in accessing my laptop camera remotely. My laptop sits open on my desk, facing my living room. I work at it every day. I watch films on it in the evenings. I have sat in front of it in every state of undress, every private moment, every unguarded second for the past 4 months. I called the police immediately. They investigated. They found evidence of someone having sat in a car outside my house on the street, the same spot based on tire track impressions, repeatedly over several months. They never identified who it was. The device was never found. I put tape over my laptop camera that night. I have never removed it. I never will. The last story tonight was submitted by a woman named L. She bought a house alone at the age of 31. A small house, older than most on the street, bought cheaply because it needed work. She told me she loved that house from the moment she walked in. She told me that feeling did not survive what she found inside the master bedroom wall. The house was built in the 1940s. Old walls, old bones. I knew it needed renovating when I bought it. That was part of the charm. I started with the master bedroom. The previous owners had left a large mirror fixed to the wall, floor to ceiling, old dark frame, slightly foxed around the edges. I decided to keep it. It suited the room. 6 months after I moved in, I started a renovation of the bedroom wall. The contractor began removing the plasterboard around the mirror. He stopped after about 20 minutes and called me upstairs. The mirror was not fixed to the wall. It was set into the wall, built into it, a frame concealing an opening, and behind the mirror was a small room. Not a crawl space, not a storage cavity, a room. Small, maybe 6 feet by 4 feet, but a room, with a wooden floor and a small wooden stool positioned directly behind the mirror. The mirror was two-way glass. From my side, a mirror. From the other side, a clear view directly into my bedroom. Whoever sat on that stool could see everything: my bed, my wardrobe, every corner of the room I slept in every night. The contractor found a small ventilation gap near the floor of the hidden room, enough to breathe through, and on the wooden floor, faint but unmistakable, shoe impressions in the dust, relatively recent, the dust disturbed and resettled the way it does over weeks or months, not years. I had been in that house for 6 months. Someone had been on the other side of that mirror, sitting on that stool in that hidden room at some point during those 6 months. The police investigated. They found no evidence of forced entry. No DNA, no fingerprints, nothing that could tell us who had been in that room or how they had gotten in. I never spent another night in that house. I sold it 4 months later. What I think about, what I cannot stop thinking about, is not who was in that room. It is the stool. Someone had placed a stool directly behind that mirror, deliberately, carefully, at exactly the right height to sit and look through the glass into the bedroom. They had thought about it, they had planned it, they had come prepared, and they had done it in a house that for 6 months I believed was entirely mine. 5 stories. 5 people who had no idea. The photograph, the junction, the room above, the camera, the mirror. If something has happened to you, something small you cannot explain, something you told yourself meant nothing, send it to Cold Midnights. The link is in the description. I read every single submission. Subscribe if you are brave enough to come back. Check your mirrors tonight. This has been Cold Midnights.